Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the Divine Union podcast. This is episode 2 of the 4-part desire series, all around how to cultivate greater sense of desire in relationship, greater sense of desire within, and how to fan those flames more frequently. So, the first episode that was last week, we covered the energetics of desire and that dance between space and togetherness that is essential to creating attraction. And we talked about how to feel into your own intimacy meter, your own need for space, your own need for togetherness, how to be more attuned to partner in their needs for space and togetherness by observing how they show up and then also communicating about desires and needs when it comes to spending time together, because some partners may desire to be together in silence. Some folks might want to be chatting when you're together. So understanding that balance for both parties so that there can be more harmony within the coupledom. Now, this episode 2, we're going to be talking about how to turn wanting into an invitation and why, when we offer instead of seek, it helps deepen intimacy. Now, what do I mean by that, wanting into invitation? I'm sure we've all been there because none of us are perfect. We're all human beings, and we've probably all been on the receiving end of when we feel like someone wants something from us. We feel like they're being nice to get a compliment in return. Yeah, have you ever been around someone and you feel like they give you or giving you a compliment just to get something in return? Or maybe they're doing something, giving you, uh, making you dinner, buying you a gift in order to get something. Or maybe they're giving you a massage, but you kind of feel like there's an expectation that it's going to lead somewhere or that they want it to lead somewhere. It's okay to want, but it feels more like that needy energy. Or if you feel, and we've all been there again, so we don't want to judge, yeah, but it's catching this. Or if perhaps you're at a party and you're uncomfortable, and so you grab your partner's hand, but they can feel that hand grab is more out of discomfort. Comfort me. I need you to comfort me, versus I'm grabbing your hand because I want to touch your hand, because I want to connect with you in this moment. But it's more out of necessity, out of comfort, out of safety. And that doesn't, when it's felt energetically, your partner might not be conscious of it. You might not be conscious of it if you're on the receiving end, but it does impact desire and attraction, because we are attracted to people that feel confident in themselves, that feel whole, that don't need us to validate them. So same thing with, if your partner asks you if you want to make love, and if you are so afraid to say no, or maybe you're not afraid, but maybe you feel like your no is going to cause conflict or wounds to their ego, that's also not attractive, because if you don't feel like they can hold the no and that it's more of a give to get, it doesn't feel good. It's that seeking energy over the invitational energy. And I'm so excited to be just laser focusing on this one topic for this episode of the Desire series, because this is such a desire impactor and how we show up. And so being attuned to those energetics. When am I doing something out of fear? When am I doing something out of validation? Where do I feel like the no is going to wound me and I'm not going to be okay? Where do I feel the no is going to wound partner and they're not going to be okay? And eventually it's being able to talk about these dynamics. Ooh, it's not a good feeling. Or, ooh, I would love to have more time where we can play, where I don't feel like it has to turn into something more if I'm not in the mood. Because the more that we have this, so I want you to think about it like this. Because a give to get is always hard, and we often do that unconsciously, especially when it comes to intimacy. And so I want you to think about it like this. I am going to initiate intimacy because it feels good, because I want to, because I want to bring joy and pleasure to my partner. And when you do that and you get comfortable with just creating openings for intimacy, so partner is relaxing and maybe you come over and give them a kiss on the cheek. Maybe you tell your partner how beautiful they look or how handsome they look. Maybe you just do a little dance in the mirror being silly, but they get to witness you and then you look over and blow them a kiss. Maybe they don't respond to it, but it doesn't matter because you are not giving to get, you're giving because it feels good. And when you do that, even if they don't respond in the moment, trust me, it's an attractive quality because it's you being expressed in your uniqueness, in your freedom of expression. And that is so attractive in a human being, no matter who you are. And there was something I touched on there that I want to actually say again and drive home in a different way. Partner wants to feel, we all want to feel that our partner takes pleasure in giving us pleasure, and whatever that looks like, cooking us a nice meal, giving us a massage, giving us a kiss. We don't want to feel like they're trying to take from us. They're giving us pleasure, but we could tell they care less about our pleasure and it's more for their ego. Or it's more for them to get something back. That doesn't feel good. It stifles desire. So the more that you practice just little openings for intimacy, saying nice things, holding a hand, putting your hand on your partner's leg, doing a nice gesture, bringing them flowers, writing a sweet love note, a poem, reading it out loud, telling them a story when you thought of them the other day, sending a silly gif in a text that reminds you of them, sending a silly selfie of yourself to them throughout the day or once in the day. We don't do it throughout the day. These things are creating openings for intimacy, asking them a question. Maybe you're really curious about one of the most impactful moments of their life. I always like to go deep. So any curious question, that's not true. I do be humorous too, but maybe it could be something like favorite movie character that you feel has a lot of depth. Favorite movie character that is the hottest man or woman that you've ever seen. Gender nonconforming individual, whoever you are, human being. There we go. So the more that we do these attempts for intimacy without expecting in return, the more partner is going to feel at ease that they can be in their no, they can be in their sovereignty. And the more their heart starts to open and they start to lean in towards you because they feel less on the defense. I need to return the favor. I need to match my partner's level of intimacy, depth, connection in this moment. And maybe you're being really serious with your partner because you want to have a serious moment of expressing love for each other, but maybe partner's not in that mood. And so if you can withstand, you can express and withstand maybe them not reciprocating, that creates safety for them to be, because you want to create an environment where your partner can truly feel like they can be themselves. Now, obviously, there's communication that comes if partner responds in ways that are hurtful. But we want partner to feel comfortable to be themselves, because if they don't, what happens is this is where cheating comes in. We don't want to excuse it, but it happens when a partner doesn't feel that they can actually communicate authentically. I'm feeling disconnected from you. I'm having eyes for someone else. I'm feeling unhappy in the relationship. Whatever it might be, cheating, emotional cheating, physical cheating, being disconnected in the relationship. I mean, there are so many ways that people can avoid intimacy, and we want to create safety for them to be real. And so it's on your end, if you're the one initiating, I want to invite you to just think about, I'm creating openings for intimacy. I'm doing little sweet things to initiate intimacy, whether it's conversationally, whether it's via touch, maybe it's just a hand on the lower back of partner. Maybe it is decorating the house or cleaning the house and putting some candles out when they arrive home, getting a little glass of champagne when they arrive home. Surprise, we're having champagne tonight. Doesn't have to go anywhere. You could desire it to, but we don't want to have an expectation. And this helps us. And when we experience rejection, to then think about, okay, it doesn't have to be about me because I'm just creating an opening for intimacy. Maybe they're not in the mood. Maybe they're not, maybe it takes time for them to warm up to me doing these kinds of things. Maybe it takes time for them to warm up to feeling safe that I'm not trying to get anything from them. Or maybe I'm trying to, if maybe it's the opposite. Actually, it's kind of hard to speak to the opposite. I'm going to speak to the one listening. Yeah. So if you're doing it, you want to really allow them to express, but you want to stay cool. You want to stay calm. You want to even play with them a little bit, because I've said this before in probably a podcast episode and many reels. You can turn someone off one moment and on the next just based on how you respond, because everything's energy, right? We feel subtleties of energy. You can feel when someone walks into a room and they're insecure and they're looking down and they're kind of slouched over and they're not making eye contact with anyone. They're barely breathing. That's not attractive. No one wants to go over to that person and talk to them. But if all of a sudden that person then there's a big stretch, looking at people, smiling, they got a group of people all of a sudden around them and everyone's looking at them, trying to engage them in a question, then you want to go over there. Right. So it's understanding and giving yourself grace to be able to shift. You can play if maybe you, good evening, honey. Maybe you put your arms on their shoulder, give a little massage, not in the mood right now. Yeah, maybe they're not in the mood. Or what are you doing? Why are you coming over and giving me a massage? You've never done that before. I don't know. I just felt like it tonight. I just felt like you needed a little massage. You were a little tense when you walked in the door. Wink, wink. What's going on? Right? Like bring a little bit of play, be at ease without expectation. It is hard. I know it's hard for all of us, myself included. And just try to not attach. And this will also help in the bedroom, because we don't want to have expectation either about the end goal should not be orgasm. We want to allow whatever comes to come, which means having communication around. There may be times that I may not climax. There may be times that you may not climax. That's okay. And it takes sensitivity to feel in. How are you feeling? I'm feeling like I want to climax. Are you okay? How are you feeling? Do you want me to wait? Should we pause? Should we stretch? Are we okay to proceed? And it's giving spaciousness, but that not having that be the goal, not having that be the dictator of success, not having anything be a point of validation of success. And when we remove that and we truly offer invitations of intimacy, of play, of humor, of connection, without trying to take from anyone, from partner, without seeking something in return, validation, accolades, love, affection, reassurance, safety, it's attractive. It is gonna deepen the intimacy because your partner is gonna feel secure because you feel secure in self. So that allows them to feel secure in self. And it's gonna strengthen your couple bubble so much. Because everyone also to get people in a heightened state of pleasure, especially in the bedroom, you want to feel like your partner genuinely cares about your pleasure. And if for a moment you sense it's inauthentic, like they're performing, or that they are just trying to rush through something so then we can switch tasks, it never helps. It gets you in your head. It takes you out of the moment. And so both parties I want to invite, when you're listening, to really bring as much as you can your authenticity. So if you're doing something that doesn't feel good, or you want to switch, or even you're hanging out and maybe you want to get some air, it's like, this is an amazing, I'm having such a good time tonight. Noticing, I say this, yeah, I'm honest. I'm noticing, ooh, my intimacy meter. Yeah, it's feeling a little hot. I'm going to go outside for a moment, get a little bit of air, come back. Because I like to be mysterious like that, right? You can bring in a little bit of humor, but when you start to ponder, and this is why we're doing this series, so you can start to ponder, and what is my need for space? What is my need for closeness? Where do I close? Where do I notice my intimacy meter is feeling too hot? Where do I notice I want more intimacy? What builds that? And the more consciousness that we have around this, the easier we're going to be able to talk about it in relationship. So today we covered art of invitation over seeking, and how to create little openings for intimacy through touch, through the voice, through words, little openings for connection, for play, without expectation, without attachment to outcome, doing it because it feels good to bring your partner pleasure, joy, humor, whatever it might be. And doing your best to not take it personal, and reminding yourself that the more that you continue to stay in your authentic expression and do what you want in a moment, the safer it's going to make them feel to express themselves in a moment. And the more that you don't have expectations for how they respond and show up, the safer they're going to feel to continue to open, and the more desire they're going to feel as a result. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you for tuning in with me for this week's episode of Divine Union Podcast with your hostess, moi, Nicola Navon. It's been such a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you next week for episode 3 of the Desire series, where we're going to talk about how air feeds the fire of desire. I'm really excited. Different angle, all around the same theme. Have a beautiful night. I look forward to seeing you next week. And until then, may all your unions be divine.